November 25, 2025. The planet was busy watching everything except the place where history was actually being rewritten. America was counting ballots. Europe was arguing over energy prices. Asia was watching its stock markets tremble. And in the red dust heart of West Africa, in a country most people still need a finger to find on a map, something happened that will be taught in universities 100 years from now. President Ibrahim Traoré stepped onto a stage in Ouagadougou and did something no African leader has ever done at this scale. He didn't open a military base. He didn't announce a new oil discovery. He didn't beg for debt relief. He opened the largest, most advanced science and technology university ever built on the African continent in a single continuous construction sprint. 200 acres, 45 research faculties, 12 bleeding-edge laboratories, capacity for 60,000 residential students, built in 18 months flat. And when the ribbon fell, the ground didn't just shake in Burkina Faso. It shook in Accra. It shook in Lagos. It shook in Dakar. It shook in Paris, Washington, and Beijing. Because this was not a campus. This was a declaration of war, fought with laboratories instead of missiles. This is the story of how one man turned education into the most powerful weapon a nation can wield, and how, in doing so, he quietly redrew the future of an entire continent. Stay until the end, because what you are about to hear is no longer a prediction. It is already happening. June 2024. The Sahel sun is brutal. The country is broke, sanctioned, and surrounded by jihadist fire on three sides. That's when Traore walks into a half-empty conference hall and says 8 words that make the room go silent. In 18 months, we will have the greatest science and technology university in West Africa. Journalists laughed. Diplomats rolled their eyes. Even some of his own ministers whispered, he has lost his mind. 18 months to build what MIT took decades to become? In a country with no coastline, no oil, and electricity that flickers like a dying candle? Impossible. But Traore wasn't asking for permission. He was issuing a deadline to history. October 2024. 14,000 workers, most of them under 30. Most of them Burkinabe who had never seen a university from the inside. Clocked in for the first shift. They worked 24 hours a day in rotating teams. Floodlights turned night into noon. Concrete mixers never stopped growling. Welders' torches painted the sky orange. By Christmas 2024, the skeleton was already visible from passing planes. By March 2025, the main AI tower, 320 meters of glass and steel, pierced the clouds like a spear thrown at the future. And something strange started happening. Ghanaian parents began saving money they didn't have. Nigerian professors quietly updated their CVs. Senegalese teenagers who once dreamed of France started learning French, only to realize they wouldn't need it anymore. Because the word was spreading. This place is real, the labs are real, the scholarships are real, and the doors open in November 2025, whether the world is ready or not. February 12, 2025. The campus is still half mud, half miracle. Drones circle overhead like curious eagles. Traore stands on a makeshift platform wearing simple military fatigues and says the sentence that will be carved into lecture halls for centuries. Burkina Faso will become the Silicon Valley of African agriculture and renewable energy. No applause at first, just stunned silence. Then the cheering starts, and it doesn't stop for 15 minutes. That single sentence traveled faster than fiber optic cable. Within 48 hours, Ghanaian radio stations are running emergency talk shows. Nigerian columnists are writing headlines that sting. Has Lagos been outmaneuvered by Ouagadougou? French diplomats in Abidjan are drafting urgent memos titled, Risk of Influence Loss in the Sahel. Chinese engineers are already on planes, because everyone suddenly understood the rules had changed. This was not charity education. This was not another capacity building project funded by people who fly home on Friday. This was sovereign science, built by Burkinabe hands, paid for by Burkinabe decisions, designed to keep the best minds on the continent and attract even more. Let me hit you with numbers so hard your screen will sweat. 45 specialized research faculties, more than Stanford and MIT combined in certain African-relevant disciplines. 12 megalabs, AI, robotics, soil genomics, desert-adapted solar, atmospheric water harvesting, drone swarms, synthetic biology, quantum agriculture modeling, and 4 more classified until 2027. 320 million 5-year research war chest, 0 IMF strings attached, 60,000 student beds, phase 2025-2027. 150 indirect jobs created before the first lecture even began. 38% female STEM enrollment on day 1, the highest in West Africa by double digits. Pre-registered ECOWAS students from outside. Burkina before the website could handle the traffic. Servers crashed for 41 hours straight. And the stat that made presidents lose sleep. In September 2025, Burkina Faso surpassed Nigeria as the #1 destination for West African STEM talent. Nigeria. Population 220 million. Oil money, Lagos, Lekki, all of it. Beaten by a landlocked country of 23 million. People who decided textbooks were more strategic than tanks. Part 5. Opening Day. The Footsteps of Tomorrow. 31 November 17, 2025. 4 AM. The gates are still closed, but the line already stretches 3 kilometers. Students from Togo sleep on mats. A girl from northern Nigeria arrived by bus 40 hours earlier. 2 brothers from Côte d'Ivoire hold a hand-painted sign. We crossed borders for knowledge, not for visas. At 7:03 a.m., the gates open, and 12,000 students walk in on the very first day. Inside the grand auditorium, 8,000 seats, standing room only, Traore steps to the microphone. He does not shout. He speaks softly, and the silence is total. Today, no one will ask Africa for permission to think. Today, we start building the future with our own minds. The applause lasts 23 minutes. Phones are in the air across the continent. Education is sovereignty trends for 72 hours straight. The longest-running African hashtag in history. Then the tours begin. Journalists walk into Lab 7 and see AI irrigation. Robots dancing across test fields. They enter Lab 3 and watch soil samples being gene-mapped in real time. They stand under the 42-megawatt solar canopy that powers the entire campus and still feeds 18 surrounding villages. One Ghanaian reporter is caught on live television whispering, "We are not in Africa anymore. This is the future," and it speaks with a Burkinabe accent. Within 1 week, Ghana announces emergency 40% increase in national STEM budget. Senegal launches Dakar 2030 Science City, quietly modeled on B50 blueprints. Nigeria's House of Representatives holds a special session titled, "How Did We Miss This?" Côte d'Ivoire's president makes an unscheduled visit to learn best practices. France 24 runs a panicked segment asking, "Is Paris losing Francophone Africa through laboratories?" American reaction, quiet, clinical, dangerous. MET sends a delegation within 14 days. USDA quietly triples its Sahel agritech research budget. A leaked State Department cable reads, "Burkina Faso is executing the most successful talent retention strategy we have ever witnessed in sub-Saharan Africa." China, immediate, offers 5,000 full scholarships and a twin campus proposal in Guangxi for joint desert tech research. Russia, Cyber and Security Labs partnership on the table within 72 hours. India, 800 annual scholarships and an open invitation for BFST faculty to co-teach at IITs. The African Union declares November 17th, Continental Science Day. Starting 2026, Ouagadougou used to shut down at 10 p.m. Now it never sleeps. Student districts explode, 6 explode outward like ripples in red earth. Bookstores open at midnight for coding textbooks. 24-hour Yolof wars between Ghanaian and Nigerian student unions. Motorbike taxis repaint their bikes in BFST colors. Land prices triple in 6 months. Solar-powered hostels rise faster than the government can count them. A new phrase enters the lexicon, the Ouaga effect. When a university becomes the economy, 38% is not just a number. It is Isata from Niger who was told coding is haram and now leads the robotics team. It is Fatimata from northern Burkina who walked 42 kilometers to catch a bus to the entrance exam. It is Chidera from Enugu whose father sold his only motorcycle to pay her transport and who scored 98% in quantum agronomy. On opening day, the largest single cohort in the auditorium is young women in hijabs, braids and lab coats, cheering louder than anyone else. Because someone finally built a future big enough for them to fit inside. October 2025, AgriNova Global, the $14 billion agtech giant, was supposed to build its Africa R&D headquarters in Accra. They canceled the Ghana project overnight, relocate 200 scientists and $800 million to a new campus inside BFST's research ring. Their internal memo leaks. Proximity to 45 live faculties and 60,000 STEM students under 25 represents the single greatest talent density on the continent. Decision is final. Within 90 days, Microsoft, Huawei, Total Energies, and 3 Nigerian unicorns open satellite labs. Ouagadougou quietly becomes the fastest growing tech ecosystem in Africa. Here is the new map of West African ambition in 2025. North Star, Ouagadougou, not Lagos, not Accra, not Dakar. For the first time in modern history, the intellectual center of gravity has moved inland, to the Sahel, to a people who decided that the best defense is a generation that can outthink the world. President Ibrahim Traoré did not fire a single bullet to achieve this. He poured concrete. He hired teachers. He trusted his youth. And in doing so, he proved the most revolutionary idea of our time. When you weaponize education at scale, borders become irrelevant, empires grow nervous, and an entire continent starts walking with its head high. The sun sets over the 320-meter spire of B50, now the tallest structure between Cairo and Johannesburg. And somewhere, a 17-year-old girl who has never seen the ocean is writing code that will feed millions. That sound you hear in the distance? That is not thunder. That is the footsteps of an Africa that decided to stop asking and started building. This is not the end of the story. This is page 1. Drums swell, then fade into hopeful Afrofuturist synths. If this moves you, share it. If this ignites you, join it. Because the silent earthquake has only just begun. And the epicenter is Ouagadougou,